One of the technologies that has the potential to completely change the way in which people learn music is artificial intelligence. And the processing speeds aren't quite there. We've seen, Siri is an example of that, or the Amazon products that they're selling now, where it's always listening and it's always on and it's always there. And if you want to check in with this thing and you want to ask it, hey, turn off the lights, it will turn off the lights for you. And there's an opportunity for someone who wants to learn to make music. The notion of an always-on device, let's pretend that it's a tablet, and it's always on and it's always with you. So let's say you're a music student and you take it with you every time you go into the practice room, and every time you go into a lesson, and every time you go into one of your classrooms, and every time you're in an ensemble rehearsal. And so it starts to learn about you. You tend to rush in this type of music. You tend to play sharp on these sorts of notes. When you have this sort of finger combination, you tend to hit the valves or the keys at slightly different times. And so it makes suggestions based on what it knows about you. Hey, there's an interval coming up that you tend to have issues with. Perhaps an alternate fingering is a way to go. Additionally, as it collects the information, it can categorize them and help you decide where you might best spend your time in the practice room. Rhythm is seeming to be an issue for you. Here are some potential ways to work on that. Additionally, let's say you mess up a thing 3 or 4 times in a row, not only could it create a suggested solution for you, but it sends out a notification to your teacher, so that in the next lesson that you're there, I got a notification through the AI that said that on a brass instrument, on this note, you're very, very sharp. So let's listen and let's figure out what those issues are, so that it doesn't remove the need for a teacher. It doesn't remove the value of a one-to-one interaction between the teacher and the student, but it's just an opportunity for the teacher to help get the student to their potential more quickly. And additionally, it removes the obstacles of trying to guess at what is it that, am I doing this right or am I not doing this right? Oftentimes, if I'm teaching a lesson and I don't see that student for another week and they don't have a clear concept of what they're doing, they may practice it wrong. They may be earnest and working on this thing very intensely, but if they didn't quite get it or they missed a note and didn't hear it, it might be a week until I'm able to correct that. Instead, the AI can catch it right away and say, no, this is a G instead of a G flat, and now you're going to do it 100 times correctly, rather than me having to now go back in and say, yeah, you learned that wrong, we have to go back in and relearn it. So the AI would always be on as a supplement to getting you there rather than a replacement for. I don't see that AI would eliminate the need for the teacher, because I don't understand why you would create music if it were not a human experience. And the connectivity between one to another, yes, there's a personal pleasure that comes out of that, but music changes lives. Music is about communication of an idea through sound from one person to another. And so there has to be the ear on the other end to validate what it is that we're doing. Technology should help us do that rather than replace. It's not about eliminating jobs. It's about getting the student from point A to point Z as quickly and efficiently as possible, so we get to hear what they have to say.